nice to see you, Peter. How are you today?
Well, so-so. I received your thesis on the condition of the springs yesterday.
I got your note. Did you read it?
I read it.
Well, what do you have to say?
Thomas, was it really necessary for you to go into this investigation behind my back?
Yes, until I was convinced myself.
Oh, and now you are convinced?
Well, certainly, Peter, aren't you too? The university chemists cooperated.
You intend to present this document to the board of directors officially as the medical officer of the springs?
Of course, something's got to be done quick.
You always use such strong expressions, Thomas. Among other things in your report, you state that we guarantee our guests and visitors a permanent case of poisoning.
Peter, how else can you describe it? Imagine poisoned internally and externally.
So you merely conclude that we must build a waste disposal plant and reconstruct an entire water system from the ground up?
Well, do you know some other way out? I don't.
I took a little walk over to the city engineer this morning, and in the course of conversation, I jokingly mentioned your changes as something we might consider in the future, you know?
Oh, the future won't be soon enough, Peter.
The engineer smiled at my extravagance, and then he gave me a few facts. I don't suppose you've taken the trouble to consider what your proposed changes would cost?
Oh, I never thought of that.
Naturally. Your little project would come to 300,000 crowns.
That expensive.
Well, don't look so surprised, it's only money. The worst part is it would take some 2 years.
2 years?
At the least. And what do you suppose we would do about the springs in the meantime? Shut them up, no doubt, because we would have to. You see, once the word gets out that the water is dangerous, we won't have a visitor left. So that's the picture, Thomas. You have it in your power to literally ruin your own town.
Look, Peter, I don't want to ruin anything.
Good. Because your report has not convinced me that the conditions are as dangerous as you make them out to be.
Now you listen here. They are even worse than the reports make them out to be. Remember, the summer is coming and the warm weather?
I think you're exaggerating. A capable physician ought to know what precautions to take.
And what then?
The existing water supply of the springs is a fact, Thomas, and must be treated as a fact. If you're reasonable and act with discretion, the directors of the Institute will be inclined to take under consideration any means necessary to make possible improvements, reasonably and without financial sacrifices.
Peter, do you think I would ever agree to such trickery?
Trickery?
Yes. A trick. A fraud. A lie. A treachery, a downright crime against the public and against the whole community.
I already said I'm not convinced there is any actual danger.
Oh, you're not. Anything else is impossible. My report is an absolute fact. The only trouble is that you and your administration were the only ones who insisted that the water supply be built where it is. Damn it! Don't you think I can see through it all?
All right. Let's assume that's true. Maybe I do care a little about my reputation. I still say I do it for the good of the town. Without moral authority, there can be no government, Thomas. And that is why it is my duty to prevent your report from ever reaching the board of directors. At some time in the future, I shall bring up the matter myself for discussion. In the meantime, not a word is to reach the public.
Oh, my dear Peter, do you imagine that you could prevent that?
It will be prevented.
It can't be. There are too many people who know about it already.
Who? Surely not those people from the Daily Messenger.
Exactly. The liberal, free, and independent press will stand up and do its duty.
Incredibly irresponsible man, Thomas. Have you even stopped to consider the consequences this is going to have for you?
For me?
Yes. For you and your family.
What the hell are you saying now?
I believe I have the right to think of myself as a helpful brother, Thomas.
You have been, and I thank you deeply for it.
Don't mention it. I often couldn't help myself. I hope that by improving your financial situation, I could keep you from running completely hog wild.
You mean you only did this for your own sake?
Partly, yes. Imagine what people would think of an elected official whose closest relatives are getting themselves into trouble time and time again.
And that's what I've done.
Do it without even knowing it. You're like a man with an automatic brain. Every time an idea pops into your head, no matter how idiotic it is, you get up like a sleepwalker and have to write a pamphlet about it.
Peter, don't you think it's a citizen's duty to share new ideas with the public?
The public doesn't need new ideas. Public's better off with the old ideas.
And you're not even embarrassed to say that.
All right. I'm going to lay this out for you once and for all. You're always barking about authority. If a man gives you an order, he's persecuting you. Nothing is important enough to respect once you decide to revolt against your superiors. All right, then. I give up. I'm done trying to change you. I have laid out the stakes you are playing for here, and now I'm going to give you an order. And I warn you, you had better obey if you value your career.
What kind of an order?
You are going to deny these rumors officially.
How?
You simply state you went into an examination of the water more thoroughly, and you find that you overestimated the danger.
My convictions come from the condition of the water. My convictions will change when the water changes for no other reason.
What are you talking about? Convictions? You're an elected official. You keep your convictions and personal opinions to yourself.
To myself.
As an official, I said. God knows, a private person, that's something else. But as a subordinate employee of the Institute, you have no right to express your convictions or personal opinions about anything dealing with policy.
Now you listen to me. I am a doctor and a scientist.
This has nothing to do with science.
I have a right to express my own opinion on anything in the world.
Not when it comes to the Institute. That I forbid.
You forbid?
I forbid you as your superior. And when I give you orders, you obey.
You can't be serious about this forbidding nonsense.
You're forcing me to do it, Thomas. Simply no other options.
So you want me to spit in my face officially? Is that it?
Why must you always be so colorful?
And if I don't obey?
Then we will publish our own document to calm the public.
Good enough. And then I will write against you. And I will stick to what I said. And I will prove that I am right and that you are wrong. And then what will you do then?
Then I simply will not be able to prevent your dismissal.
My what?
Dismissed from the Institute, I said. If you wish to wage war on Kirsten Springs, you have no right to be on the board of directors.
You dare to do that?
Oh no, you're the daring one. You're driving your whole family into a horrible situation.
My family concerns nobody but myself.
His family in his own town.
I'm going to show you who loves this town. The people will get the full sting of this corruption, Peter, and then we will see who loves this town.
You love your town when you blindly, spitefully, stubbornly go ahead trying to cut off our most important industry.
The source is poison, man. We are getting fat by peddling filthy corruption to innocent people.
I think this has gone well beyond convictions and personal opinions, Thomas. A man who can throw around that kind of insinuation is nothing but a traitor to society.
How dare you?
I will not be exposed to violence. You have been warned. Consider what you owe yourself and your family. Good day.
I wanted to go away to college, but a rich Aunt Persis wouldn't help me. So I made the gardens and raked the lawns, and bought John Alden's books with my earnings, and toiled for the very means of life. I also wanted to marry Delia Prickett too, but how could I do it with what I earned? And there was Aunt Persis, more than 70. Who sat in a wheelchair half alive, with her throat so paralyzed that when she swallowed, her soup ran out of her mouth like a duck. A gourmand, yet investing her income in mortgages, fretting all the time about her notes, rents, and papers. That day, I was sawing wood for her, and reading Proudhon in between. I came into the house for a drink of water, and there she sat, asleep in her chair, and Proudhon lying on the table, in a chloroform on the book that she sometimes used for an aching tooth. I poured the chloroform on my handkerchief. And I held it to her nose until she died. Oh, Delia, Delia, you and Prudon stayed my hand. And the coroner said she died of heart failure. I married Delia and got the money. Joke's on you, Spoon River.
Colonel Edward.
Come in, Major. I've been looking forward to meeting you. Sit down, please. If I remember correctly, smart bunch, Major.
No, thank you.
First, Major, I want to apologize to you about yesterday. I mean, about playing that tape recording for so long. I didn't realize how sensitive you were about it. I've only hoped that you recover sufficiently enough so that you can answer some more questions today.
I don't know any more today than I knew yesterday.
I realize that. But perhaps you can tell us more about what you do now.
I told you yesterday, I'm guilty. And I see no point in going over the same ground again.
We're not going over the same ground again, Major. Not at all. In fact, I'd like to touch upon some things that we didn't mention yesterday. In going into the facts of this case, a certain sequence of events becomes very striking. There's a definite pattern of life in that prison camp. Starvation, brainwashing, sickness, death. Went on for more than a year, and no man broke. Then there was a period of 3 months when nobody died. And suddenly, 48-hour period, Lieutenant Harvey died. Captain Connors died. You broke.
So?
Well, was there any connection between the deaths of Lieutenant Harvey, Captain Connors, and your breaking?
None.
Well, your breaking falls so closely after their deaths, I thought there must have been some connection.
And I just said that there wasn't.
All right, I accept it. By the way, Major, how did Lieutenant Harvey die?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
A man can't remember everything.
Of course not. Major, at whose burial did you say, when my brother dies, that I might live, may I be worthy of his sacrifice?
A man told you that today?
Well, surely they can't be harmed in admitting that you said it, can they?
No, I said it. Why?
Major, if you were to give reasons to why you broke, what would that reason be?
I suppose some men are weaker than others.
So you were the weakest man in that shack?
Evidently.
You signed confessions, gave lectures, made propaganda broadcasts, all because you're weak?
Man wants to stay alive.
I see. And you desired to stay alive, you didn't take back the effects of what you did.
Effects?
It didn't trouble you that 100 million Asiatics, probably 200 million, were hanging in the balance? That in the Cold War, your words, your voice, were a weapon against everything you believed in? That didn't matter?
No. It didn't matter.
It didn't matter that you most likely endangered the lives of millions of your fellow Americans because that's what will take advantage of foster communists. That didn't matter to
I
you!
just said that it didn't matter now. How many times do you need me to say?
Well, tell me again. I'd like to hear it. Major Harry Cargill, specialist on German warfare.
Why don't you shut the hell up?
What's the matter, Major? Don't you like the sound of it? Should I tell you what I think? I think you were frightened by the tape yesterday because I want you. That's right. I think you were frightened by the ghosts of dead minds as well as dead bodies. Minds that you helped to kill by your broadcasts. Minds that were pushed over the brink into communism by you. Isn't that right, Major?
Shut up.
Isn't that right? Answer me!
I don't have to answer you.
Answer me!
What kind of inquisition is this?
You like it to be an inquisition. But it's not going to be. You're going to be defended whether you like it or not because we have rules. The standard of justice will follow us by you.
Standard of justice. You poor goddamn fool. You're obsolete. You think that this is a world built for men who think in terms of right and justice? That's ancient history, Colonel. A thing of the past. You're out of style, Colonel. That's right. You and all your standards and your books full of laws and rules, all of it, it's obsolete. Because this is a new kind of world. It's kill, destroy, dog eat dog. And by God, maybe that's the way it ought to be because men don't deserve any better than that.
You really believe that?
Yeah, I really believe that.
Who kills one man kills the whole world. How many worlds have I killed?
My wife? My wife? You leave her out of this. She didn't break any of your rules.
Major, I'll give my information any way I can. Now step in that office.
Look, Edwards. I'll do whatever you ask, but you can't. You can lie.
That's in order. Now step inside.
Whoever thou art who passest by, know that my father was gentle and my mother was violent. While I was born the whole of such hostile halves, not intermixed and fused, but each distinct feebly soldered together. Some of you saw me as gentle, some as violent, some as both. But neither half of me wrought my ruin. It was the falling asunder of halves, never a part of each other, that left me a lifeless soul.
Hello, Sally. I haven't seen you for a day and a half.
I know. I missed you, Chris.
I've missed you too. I say, you don't look too well this morning.
Got a terrible hangover.
What have you been doing?
Not that.
I wasn't thinking of that.
Oh. But we never stopped going around, and I got drunk and sentimental the first night. I telephoned Mummy in London.
Good God, what for?
I suddenly felt like it. But we had the most awful connection, and I couldn't hear a word. And last night was worse. We went to the most boring places. Chris, I need someone to stop me. I really do. I wish I could stay home with you.
Well, thank you, Sally.
You're awfully nice to come back to.
You're awfully nice to have back. I say that. That sounds like a popular song.
Oh, it does. Maybe we could write it together and make a fortune. You're awfully nice to come back to.
You're awfully nice to have back. You're awfully nice to come back to.
I do think we belong together. Much more than if we'd ever had an affair. That little quarrel we had didn't mean anything, did it?
I don't think two people can live as closely as we do and not have.
It was that sent me on that idiotic binge.
Did you read the article I left you?
What, dear?
My article?
Oh. Yes, I looked at it.
Well,
I'm terribly sorry, Chris, but it won't do.
why? What's wrong with it?
It's not nearly snappy enough.
Snappy?
Oh, it's all right, Christopher. I've got someone else to do it.
Oh, who?
Kurt Rosenthal. I called him this morning.
Who's he?
Really, Chris, I thought you took an interest in the cinema. He's miles the best young scenario writer. He earns pots of money.
Why is he doing this then?
It was a favor to me. He said he'd dictate it while he's shaving and send it around to the editor's flat.
Well, journalism isn't really my line, but I think you might have let me know about this.
I didn't think you'd want to be bothered.
And he would.
He doesn't make such a fuss about writing as you do. He's writing a novel in his spare time. He's so terribly busy he can only dictate it while he's having a bath.
I'm sure that makes it wonderful. Of course, it depends on how many baths he takes.
He read me the first few chapters. Honestly, I think it's the best novel I've ever read.
Well, that doesn't add up to very many now, does it?
He's the kind of author I really admire. He's not stuck up either. Not like one of these young men who, because they've written one book, start talking about art and imagining they're the most wonderful authors in the world.
Well, just who are you talking about, Sally?
Well, you do, Chris. You know you do. And it's silly to get jealous.
Oh, it's jealous. Who's jealous?
There's no need to get upset.
Oh, I am not upset. You don't like my article, all right. You needn't go on about it. I can't think why I expected you to, or your rich, successful friends either. From whom you seem to have got all this stuff about me.
Would you like to know what my friends said about you?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, I'll tell you. They said you were ruining me. That I lost all my sparkle and my effervescence, that it was all due to you. You eat me up just sitting here, pouring myself into you.
Oh, is that what you've been
It's
doing?
all you want. You're like a vampire, You don't have someone around you sit around in bars when you devour someone.
Say that about me.
My friends are a lot better than the tattered people you run around with. All your friends seem to be interested in is just flopping into bed.
And since when have you had anything against bed?
I haven't anything. As long as it leads somewhere.
You mean not just for the fun of it?
That's disgusting. It's like animals. But you know, Chris, I'll tell you something. I've outgrown you.
You what?
I've gone beyond you. I better move away from here.
All right, when?
The sooner the better, I should think.
That's fine with me.
Good.
So, this is the end for us?
Yes. If you want it that way. Probably bump into each other somewhere, sometime, I expect.
Well, call me sometime and ask me around for a cocktail.
I never know whether you're being serious or not.
Try it and find out. If your friends will spare you the time.
You know, you make me sick. Goodbye, Chris.
There she is! Well, I've always known that right from the start. No, that's not true. I flattered myself she was fond of me. Nothing would please me better than to see her whipped! Really, really whipped! Not that I care a curse what she thinks of my art. Not much. My literary conceit is proof against anything she could say. It's her criticism of myself, that awful sexual flair women have for taking the stuffing out of men. It's no good telling myself that Sally had the vocabulary and the mindset of a 12-year-old schoolgirl. I was managed to read to you right from the start. I should have been convincing, fatherly, mature, wonderful. I made the one fatal mistake. I let her see I was jealous. Vulgarly jealous. I feel prickly all over with shame. Frenzy indeed. Well, I certainly won't see her again after this. Never. Never.
Chris! Something awful's happened. Guys I met on the stairs. I met Mummy.
What's wrong?
Mine!
I thought you said she was in London.
She was, but that caller might upset her. I suppose it is I'm a bit drunk. Anyway, she jumped to conclusions and into an aeroplane. Chris, you're going to have to do something for me. I'm writing her now and then. I mean, they can send me money from time to time. I've never had the nerve to tell you, but I sort of gave her to understand when I first moved in here that we were engaged.
Who was engaged?
You and I. To be married?
Sally, you didn't do that.
Well, it sounds like a good best I can think of.
What am I supposed to do? Just stand by and pretend while you flatter her?
You've got to. You owe it to me.
For what? For letting me eat you up? I'm sorry, Sally, and I'm going to my room.
If you don't, I'll tell her the most awful things about you.
Tell her what you like. I don't care.
If you can't do this to me.
After the things you just said to me, that I make you sick.
That was just an expression.
No, Sally, we're through. We're quite through.
We still can be. After she goes, I can't make her happy. Don't believe everything I said of her. She isn't easy. Please, darling.
I was within that cab. They used to call me Dr. Myers because they said I looked like him, and he was my father, according to Jack McGuire. I lived in a livery stable, sleeping on the floor, side by side with Roderick Bowman's bulldog. Or sometimes in a stall. I could crawl between the legs of the wildest horses without getting kicked. We knew each other. On spring days, I tramped through the country just so I can get the feeling, which I sometimes almost lost, that I was not a separate thing from the earth. I used to lose myself, as if in sleep, just lying with my eyes half open in the woods. Sometimes I talked to animals, even toads and snakes, anything that had an eye to look into. Once I saw a stone in the sunshine trying to turn into jelly. In April days in this cemetery, the dead people gathered all about me and grew still, like a congregation in silent prayer. And I never knew whether I was a part of this earth with flowers growing in me or whether I walked. Now, I know.
What in God's name do you think you're doing?
I'm packing. Let me high five on your head. I'm packing.
Well, you can stop packing. Stop it. Stop it right now.
Out of my way.
You're being ridiculous. It's late. Hotels are expensive.
I'm not going to a hotel. I'm going home.
Oh. Home to mother. Minerva Penny returns to mama. And the ancestral homestead. You disappoint me, darling. They started out as a good, honest row, and now you're just being commonplace.
I'm not your darling, and I never want to see you again, so just please go in the other room.
Don't cry. In the name of heaven, don't cry. Tears get you nowhere, they merely make you look messy.
Why didn't you pay the light bill? I gave you the money.
I told you I forgot. I completely forgot.
But you spent the money.
Yeah, I spent the money. If I find $50 in my pocket and I need books, I buy the books. What's wrong with that? Besides, I can write them off on income tax.
What income? You can't even get an advance from your publisher anymore. They printed 3,000 copies of your last book, and 2,000 are being remainder in the drugstores.
Oh, don't be a snob. I write for the people. And where do you find the people? In the drugstores.
Adam Hardwick, the great historian, a lipstick, a tube of toothpaste, and a 49-cent biography of Aaron Burr. Will there be anything else but that?
I should chop you up and stick you in that suitcase limb by limb. But I'm not. I'm going to give you another chance. Perhaps when my new book comes out, you'll have the grace to revise your superficial opinion of my work.
I'm sorry, Adam. I'm not waiting for your new book, which at the rate you've been working will be finished in about 2020. I've had enough. I'm sick of New York. I'm sick of this apartment, and I think I'm beginning to be sick of you. I'm sick of I know I'm sick of you. And if you can bear to hear the absolute truth, I'm tired of supporting you.
Sure, you're supporting me. I mean, why not? If I had money and you didn't, I'd support you. Except I don't think I'd be so ill-mannered to sit there and whine about it.
Whine? I've never whined. I'm not shouting.
Well, I hesitate to think that this vulgar tone that you're using right now is your natural voice. Oh! You struck me? You struck me. You remember that, you struck me. Hey, should I strike her back? Huh? No. Of course not. Obviously, I must reason with her. David. Oh my God.
Right now, I want some peace and some quiet, some tranquility, a little order in my life, Fareeba.
You're gonna find that in Pinnafield?
In Pinnafield, they don't behave like human beings, okay? They get married, they have children, and they go to church on Sundays. And they live in clean houses.
Yeah, and they pay their light bills on time. But that's not why you're leaving. Why don't you come right out with it, Minnie? Your pride is hurt. You got fired from your job last week and you can't take it, you're chicken.
There's that train at 9:30. I'll just make it.
I'm surprised at you. Thought you had guts. What happened to that girl that was gonna set the publishing industry on its ear? That was gonna discover tomorrow's Mark Twain, tomorrow's Walt Whitman. Okay, sure, let's say that you can spot talent in your boss can't, but does that mean you have to go and call him a spineless nincompoop? I mean, was that exactly diplomatic?
But I was right. You know damn well I was right.
You're so childish. Don't you know that when you're right and the boss hates you the most, he's gotta fire you? Gives him an inferiority complex.
He was paying me to tell him the truth.
Oh, the truth. The truth. Minnie, even you should know this by now. Nobody wants to hear the truth unless he's figured it out for himself. And besides, you gotta get rid of this whole superior attitude. Can't you realize that? Neither I, nor your boss, nor anybody else in New York gives a hoot in hell that you're the direct descendant of Sarah Pinney. Nevertheless, when you're my girl and I love you, we're gonna unpack this stuff. It's very complicated.
What's this thing back?
We're gonna go to dinner.
You know my address. I don't care to hear from you, but if there's any mail, I'd appreciate you forwarding it.
We'll have some drinks. Come back here.
Yeah, and you'll make love to me. And everything will be just dandy, no thanks. Definitely no thanks.
An idea just occurred to me. Suppose we get married. I mean, it's not part of the bargain, but I'm willing to give it a shot. It'll bring you some of that tranquility, some of that serenity.
Get out of here. I'm warning you, get out of here.
You said you would.
I am.
Yeah? And you'll come back. You can't live without me. You'll come back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not if I live to be 80 and die a spinster.
You will, because you love me.
Oh, I love you. Don't I though? I love you. I love you.
Oh!
I love you. I love you.
There's no hot water, is there? Well, aren't we speaking to one another? Clock has stopped again. Guess we're not speaking to one another. Thank you for clearing the table. The cream belongs in the icebox.
Refrigerator.
Johnny, I'm sorry about this morning. It's silly. I don't even know what it was that I said now.
You said I was useless. Something like that.
Well, why should you be afraid to tell me you lost your job? I mean, I felt like a fool when I called. Your boss must have thought I was a fool too. I don't work 3 days and I have to find out by accident?
Ruined a day's work. All right, I wrote a whole day's work just botched. I don't know how I did it.
Well, ruining a day's work, losing your job is no reason to go into hiding.
Honey, I didn't lose that job, all right? I was thrown out. I took 15 shafts into that lathe that day and I undercut every one by 20 lousy thousandths of an inch. It's the fourth job I lost in 6 months.
Alright. But it's not 1929 anymore. I mean, so you lost 4 jobs.
Where do these go?
The top shelf.
Don't start shouting now.
Well, I haven't even raised my voice.
I know when you're shouting when you don't raise your voice.
Well, they go on the top shelf. Alright, the dishes go on the top shelf, the cream belongs to the ice, the refrigerator. Your shoes are to be found in that closet, your shirt and shorts are in the bottom drawer. We live at 967 Main Street. Let's not do the dishes tonight. Let's just go once, sit and talk. Come on, put that down.
All right? Where do you want to sit? Where do I sit?
Can we try and talk?
I thought everything was decided. Do you leave or do I leave?
I thought we had more to talk about than that.
Go on, I'm listening.
I have to do more than listen.
Listen. I can't talk, all right? I just can't seem to talk to people anymore.
Well, I'm not people. Your wife. I married you to live with you. I married you to have your child in me.
Look, do we have to sit down like we're holding a class? Well,
Well, what about her, huh? She rich?
I told
She
you.
pretty?
I haven't even shaken hands with another woman since we've been married, and that's what, 4 years?
Just 1 year, Johnny. That's all the marriage we ever got to have was that first year. Listen, I never told you this before. I don't know, I was ashamed or something, but there were times when you were gone that I just wanted to be near a man. I mean, sometimes I thought I'd go crazy. I just wanted to go out dancing or... I don't know, I never went anywhere though. I just waited for you.
I didn't go anywhere either. All right, they told me where to go.
Listen, I can understand how you might want. Maybe I'm not giving you what you want or need. All right, who is she? Why do you have to lie to me?
God, I'm not lying.
You must think I'm stupid. All these months of just letting you leave and not saying anything. I keep trying to tell myself you love me and only me.
I love you and only you.
I wish I knew where you are. I waited for you and you never came home. I was here when you left and while you were gone, and I'm here now. I spend more time with your brother than I do with you. Polo and I are together every night of the week, and he never mentions you, and neither do I. We just pretend like you don't exist. Being lonely at night is nothing new, but last night I was lonely in a different way. I almost threw myself in Polo's arms.
What are you talking about?
I can't go on like this.
3 of us in one house. Johnny, we used to stay up all night talking, wake up bleary-eyed, and it didn't matter because we were together. Don't you remember?
Yeah. All weekend long, too. That weekend we spent at the point, we didn't sleep from Friday to Sunday.
That poor house detective thought we weren't married.
Told you to get out of the sun and you got sunburned.
Yeah, well, I told you to stay off the rocks and you hobbled around for a week with that stuffed toe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you walked around for a week with that white stuff on your nose. You looked like a clown.
Gosh, and that old man who climbed out to where we were and caught us kissing.
Caught us kissing. He must have been watching us for 5 minutes.
That's all we were doing.
Not remembering that day.
I remember that day most of all. That was your weekend before you left. I just wanted to hold you and never let you go.
You cried at the train station.
I know. I didn't know where you were going or how long you would be gone. You cried too.
Oh, I didn't.
I saw you through the window of the train as it was pulling away. You were smiling, but you were crying.
Yeah, well, for Christ's sake, you were like a kid who lost her rag doll.
You're right, that old man didn't just catch us kissing, he caught us
You know, playing. The old man caught us playing.
playing. Then you word for it. Johnny, please love me.
Love you. I love you more than I can say. Sometimes at night when you sleep, I walk the streets like I'm looking for something. And yet I know all the while what I'm looking for is right here, sleeping. It's like I walk the streets looking for you and you're right here.
What does it matter?
Nothing.
Didn't mean to offend you by touching you.
I'm sorry.
You with her today?
Never mind where I was today.
Yes, I'm gonna mind. But you go out all hours of the night walking. You leave whenever you want. You come home whenever you want. Hey, a day isn't just a day anymore. It's not just your day or my day, all right? A day belongs to us both. Okay, so you didn't work today. Get another job, but what was your day, huh? Did you take her to the movies, or?
This morning you said that the marriage was a bust. That we were on the rocks after you left. Look, did you ever feel like you were going crazy? Ever since I knew the old man was coming up, I can't stop remembering things. Like all night I've been hearing that whistle. The old man used to whistle like that when he used to call us. I was supposed to come right home from school, but I played marbles. All right, maybe every half hour he'd whistle. I'll be on my knees on the schoolyard with my Emmy glove on. You know, you take a woman's glove and you cut the fingers off so your fingers are free. And your knuckles don't bleed in the wintertime. And I just kept on playing. And the whistles got madder and madder, and it starts to get dark and I'd worry. but I wouldn't come home until I won all the marbles. And he'd be up on the porch whistling away. I'd cross myself at the door. There was a grandmother I had who taught me to cross myself to protect myself from lightning. Well, I'd go in, walk in holding the chamois bag of marbles, and I'd say, "Hey, Pop, I won, Pop. I won." Wham! Pow! I went up in the corner and said, "Pop, I didn't hear you, all right? I didn't hear you."
What did you do today? You didn't play marbles today, did you? I know you weren't home because I called 5 times if I called you.
I'm trying to tell you what I did today.
I'm trying to avoid telling me what you did today.
Look, I took the train. See, and then I took the bus. I went to go look at the house that I was born in, all right? It's only an hour away. But in 15 years, I've never gone anywhere near that house or that town. I had to go back. I had to. I can't explain the feeling, but I was 10 years old when I left there. The way I looked around, they must have thought I was crazy because I kept on staring at the old house. I was going to knock at the door and ask the people if I could just look around. All right, and then I went to the Saybrook school where the old man used to whistle, and the orange fire escapes and the ivy still climbing up on the walls. And then I took the bus and the train, and then I went to go meet the old man's plane, and then we came here.
Came here. Not home, but here.
I mean home.
Yeah, but you said here.
All right, here, not home. Look, you know I lived in a lot of places since I left that town. There was always a table and some cups and some windows, all right? And somebody was the boss. Somebody to tell you what to do and what not to do. Always somebody to pep you up and slap you down and tell you to use willpower. And there was always a bed. What do I know about it all?
Johnny. Johnny, do you want to run away from here?
I want to live here.
With me?
Honey, there is no other woman. Look, baby, you don't know how much I need you. How much I love you. Okay, sometimes I just want to bury myself in you.
Too.
Have to go out tonight, okay? I love you.
Rain finally stopped. I guess I should open all the windows. Everything is so damp in here.
just turned 21, and Henry Phipps, the Sunday school superintendent, made a speech at Bindle's Opera House. The honor of the flag must be upheld, he said, whether it be assailed by a barbarous tribe of Tagalogs or the mightiest power in Europe. And all of us just cheered and cheered him, and the flag he waved as he spoke. And I went to war in spite of my helmet. I kept following the flag till I saw it raised above our camp, Miss Riceville just outside. And all of us just cheered and cheered it, and cheered it. But then there were the flies, and the poisonous things, and the deadly water, and the treacherous heat, and the trenches out back where soldiers went to empty themselves, and the whores who followed us, who were full of syphilis, and the sickening putrid food, and barbarous acts amongst ourselves. Bullying and degradation and fear among us, and days of loathing and nights of fear, all to the hour of that march through the steaming swamp following the flag. Till I fell with the spring, shot in the guts. Now there's a flag over me in Spoon River. A flag. A flag.
My wife lost her health and dwindled until she weighed scarce 90 pounds. Then that woman with the men's dollar Cleopatra came along, and we married ones. We all broke our vows, myself among the rest. Years passed, and one by one, death claimed them all, some hideous form. And I was borne along by dreams of God's particular grace for me. And I began to write reams on reams of the second coming of Christ. Then Christ came to me and said, go to church and stand before the congregation and confess your sins. But just as I stood up and began to speak, I saw my little girl who was sitting in the front seat. My little girl who was born blind. After that, all was black.
Here is my apartment.
Did you read Sex and the Single Girl by Helen Gurley Brown?
No,
Well, Helen Gurley says that if you go to a man's apartment after just beginning the acquaintanceship process, you're just asking for trouble.
Really?
However, Dr. Albert Ellis in Sex and the Single Man encourages it.
Oh, no kidding.
But I don't agree with either of them. I mean, how can you generalize about something like that? Am I right?
Sure.
I think who you are, who the man is, and what your particular needs are can't help but color your true feelings. That's why I'll wait for you here.
What?
I'd rather wait for you here.
Well, what for?
I just don't like to go to a person's apartment when I hardly know the person. Not that anything's gonna happen, it's the idea of the thing. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, but I told you I think I left my gas on. We'll just go in and check my oven and leave.
Well, okay, but just for a second. I don't like to go to a man's apartment when I hardly know the person. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's like the idea of the thing.
It's like the idea of the thing. Oh, what a nice decor. Sends out good vibrations.
$135.
Gas and electric included?
Yes.
I don't smell any.
What?
Gas.
Oh, look. As long as you're here, You want to use my bathroom?
What?
Well, I know that girls have to use the bathroom more than guys, and it's a long ride home.
Okay. Thanks.
So hard to talk to dance music.
Do you think that man is the love object and woman is the other?
What?
Did you read The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir?
No,
Well, that's what Simone says. But I don't agree. Why do I have to be the other? I have as much right to be the love object as the man does. What do you think?
Okay.
What are you going to do?
I'm gonna kiss you.
Why?
Because your mouth is nice.
Jerry! I think I better go. It's not that I'm not having a good time, it's the idea of how I'm having it. I'll try not to think about it. Hey, the blinds are up. People can look in.
Oh, don't worry about it. The windows will fog up.
Can I have a cold drink?
Oh, come on, you don't want a cold drink.
Yes, I'm thirsty. May I speak frankly? A friend of mine was going with this guy she picked up in Central Park at the zoo, and she spent the whole weekend with him. But it was a full 2.5 days. Do you know what I mean by full?
Sure, you mean full.
I mean, the sexual thing was there, yeah, don't get me wrong, but so was the spirituality. Did you read The Prophet by Khalil Gibran?
No, I was going to, but I never got around to it.
Well, you know, he says, I am you, and you are me, and we are one. Well, they were one at his house, her house, all over town they were one. Then, on Monday, he was supposed to call her. Well, a whole week goes by, and he doesn't call her. Next Friday night, she bumps into him again at the zoo, and he says, let's go to my place. Can you imagine when he hadn't even called? So she says, what kind of girl do you think I am? Okay, no regrets. It was a full 2.5 days. Do you want to hear something really depressing? Not only didn't this guy call her, he never even bought her a Coke. If that doesn't depress you, what what a giving thing. This is no good. You have to be what you are. This may be you, but it isn't me.
What isn't?
May I speak frankly? I know we just met 30 minutes ago, but just what do I mean to you? I mean, am I just a passing train in the night you're having a transitory frolic with? Or are you more attracted to my inner being, and this might very well be the beginnings of a meaningful relationship on a permanent basis?
The second one.
Then let's wait.
For what?
For the first date. I don't believe in fooling around until the first date. I know that sounds old-fashioned, but those are my values. I mean, we hardly know each other.
I know you even though I don't know you. Sometimes you see someone that you've never seen before, but somehow you just have the feeling that you know the person. I mean, when I saw you at Maxwell's Plum, I just knew. I knew you.
Beautiful.
What's the matter?
I don't know you.
What do you want to know?
Did you read The Art of Loving by Eric Fromm?
Just came out in paperback. It's all sold out.
Well, Fromm says, whoever is capable of giving of himself is rich. That's why I try to be open to all experiences, like a blackboard to be written on. Let's rest.
What do you want to rest for? We haven't done anything.
I'd like a moment to reflect about things.
What things?
Would you stroke my hair? I like this. Shall I tell you how I feel?
Sure.
I am queen of the universe. Waves apart and they engulf me, and the sea foam is warm. Warm. Kiss me, Jerry, kiss me. How do you feel?
Warm, like the sea foam.
Do you want me to stay?
Yes.
What, the whole night?
Yes, just don't talk so much. Tell you what.
I am queen.
You're a queen, you're a queen.
Thank you, Jerry, say it again.
Look. Can we not talk and just do it?
Do what? I don't follow.
Well, what do you mean you don't follow? What we came here for? Sex?
Oh, Jerry, that's not you talking. That's not my Jerry.
How could I be your Jerry? I don't even know you.
You said you knew me. That wasn't I knew. You knew. That's why I let you make advances toward me and wine me and dine me.
You're crazy? I didn't make the advances. You asked me to buy you a cup of coffee, so I did.
I can't get over this. You mean all you wanted from this relationship was something cheap and smutty? I have needs too, Jerry!
Well, look, Brenda, why don't we just call it a night? I'll put you in a cab. It was nice knowing you. I mean, why don't I ever have any luck? I mean, every Saturday night I go to Maxwell's Club and either I get a crush from a girl or I get a tease or I wind up with some nuts. Tonight I get a combination. What's the matter with me?
Jerry, it's obvious. You're just a slave to your erections.
What?
A woman is just an object to you, like an ice cream popsicle. Oh, you enjoy the flavor of it, but take care. Because one day, you'll try to discard the wrapper, and the orange sherbet will stick to your fingers, and you will wind up feeling icky. All you know how to do is take. You don't know the meaning of reciprocal giving, and that's what love is. Am I right, Jerry?
Yeah, I guess so.
Then take.
What?
Go ahead, Jerry, take.
Oh, I thought you said I don't reciprocate.
I'll give for both of us.
Oh.
Oh, Jerry, aren't you glad we waited? Wasn't it worth not rushing into?
Yes.
How many are we, Jerry? How many? We are one. One. We are one. Oh, Jerry, this is the fullest Saturday night I've ever had. Did you read the Kama Sutra by Vatsyananda? Chapter 1. Men and women were created, and in 100,000 commandments they were laid out these rules in regards to Dharma, Kama.
Oh, child, who died as you entered the world? Dead with my death. Not knowing breath, though you tried so hard. The heart that beat when you lived with me and stopped as you left me for life. It is well, my child. For you never traveled the long, long ways that begin with school days. The little fingers blur under tears that foam the crooked letters. And the earliest rooms when a little maid leaves you alone for another. Or the sadness. Or the face of fear by the bed. The death of a father or mother. Or the shame for them, or for poverty. The eyeless leisure that makes you drink from the cup of love, though you know it's poison. To whom might your flower face have been lifted? But then freedom. Cry what blood of yours, pure or foul, for it makes no matter. It is blood that calls to our blood. And your children, of my baby and your sorrow. Child. Death is better than life.
Edison! Mrs. Edna Edison! I've just been robbed. I just walked in. They must have just left. They took everything. Edison! They must have just left. 2 minutes sooner I could have been killed. 385 East 88th Street. Apartment 14A. I don't know yet. The television, the record player, books, clothing. They took lots of clothing. All my husband's suits, all my dresses, all my things, all my husband's suits. There's not a thing left in his closet, and I haven't even checked the drawers yet. Would you please send somebody right away? I'm all alone. My husband isn't home from work yet. Mrs. Edna Edison? I could have been killed. Thank you. All right, calm down. I'll have a drink. Oh, the liquor's gone. I'll have a Valium.
Didn't Mildred come in to clean today?
Today? Mondays and Thursdays.
What happened to you? Why is this place such a mess?
We've been robbed.
What do you mean, Rob?
Robbed. Robbed? What does robbed mean? They come in and they take things out. They robbed us.
I don't understand. You mean someone just walked in and robbed us?
What do you think? They're gonna call up and make it up? I've been robbed.
All right. Edna, just asking a simple question. What happened? What did they get?
I don't know yet. I was out shopping. I was gone 5 minutes. I came back and I found it like this.
Couldn't have been gone just 5 minutes. Look at this place.
5 minutes. That's all I was gone.
5 minutes, huh? We better call the FBI, because every crook in New York must have been in here.
Well, then that's who was here because I was only gone 5 minutes.
When you came back in the building, did you notice anyone suspicious looking?
Everyone in the building is suspicious.
Did you notice anyone carrying any bundles or packages?
I didn't notice.
What do you mean you didn't notice?
I didn't notice. You think I look for people leaving the building with my television set?
Television set? Brand new color television.
They're not looking for 1948 Philcos. It was here, they took it. I gotta get
All
a
right.
breath out.
All right, calm down. I'll get a drink.
I don't want to drink.
A little scotch, it'll calm you down.
It won't calm me down because there's no scotch. They took the scotch.
All the scotch?
All the scotch.
The Chivas Regal too?
No, they took the cheap scotch and left the Chivas Regal. All the scotch. They cleaned us out.
Son of bitches! Sons of bitches! Well, in 5 minutes, huh?
Well, they must have been gorillas. Did it all that in 5 minutes.
Leave me alone!
Sign up, bitches!
Stop swearing! The police will be here any minute. I just called them.
You called the police?
Didn't I just say that?
Tell them we were robbed.
Why else would I call them? I'm not friendly with the police.
All right. Calm down, Mickey. You're hysterical.
I'm not hysterical.
You're hysterical.
You're making me hysterical. Can't you see my house has just been robbed?
What am I, a border? My house has just been robbed too. My television, my Chevrolet Regal is missing, the same as yours.
She didn't walk in and find it. I did.
What's the difference? You found it. There's still nothing to watch and nothing to drink.
Stop yelling at me! Just as upset as you are.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I'm upset too. Let me get you a Valium. It'll calm you down.
I don't want a Valium.
Take one, you'll feel better.
I am not taking a Valium.
Why are you so stubborn?
I'm not being stubborn. We don't have any. Took the Valium.
I took the Valium?
The whole medicine chest. Valiums, Secondals, aspirin, shaving cream, toothpaste, razor blades. They left your toothbrush. You can still brush your teeth if you want to.
I don't believe you. Don't believe you. Dirty bastard! I hope they die. I hope the car they stole to get away in hits a tree and turns over and burns up and they all die.
They must have been desperate. I took everything they could carry. They even found my kitchen money.
The television I can understand. Liquor I can understand. But shaving cream? Hairspray? What are they going to get for a roll of dental floss?
Yeah. They even took the kitchen money.
What kitchen money?
I kept it in here. $85.
In cash? Where do you keep cash in a book?
So no one will find it. Or else we're gonna keep it.
In a jar. In the sugar. Someplace they're not going to look.
They looked in the medicine chest. You don't think they're gonna look in the sugar?
Nobody looks in the sugar.
Nobody steals dental floss and mouthwash. Only sick people. Only that's who live in the world today. Sick, sick, sick people.
All right, Edna, all right. As long as you weren't hurt, that's the most important thing.
Can you imagine if I walked in and they were still here? What would I have done?
You were lucky, Edna. Very lucky.
But what would I have done?
What's the difference? You didn't walk in and find it.
But supposing that I did, what would I have done?
I don't know. You say, excuse me, close the door, come back later. Why are you asking me such questions? It didn't happen, did it?
Because it almost happened. If I had just walked in 5 minutes sooner.
Door, the lock isn't broken. It's not Jimmy. I don't even know how they got in here.
Maybe they found my key.
What do you mean, found your key? Don't you have your key?
No, I lost it. I thought I lost it somewhere in the house, but maybe I lost it in the street.
If you didn't have your key, how did you get back in the house when you went shopping?
I left the door open.
You left the door open? You left the door open?
Well, I didn't have a key. How else was I going to get back inside the house?
So you left the door open?
in the city with the highest crime rate in the history of the world, you left the door open.
What was I gonna do? Take the furniture with me? I was gone 5 minutes. How did they know I left the door open?
They know. They know. The door opens, it doesn't lock, the whole junkie world lights up. Door open, 14th floor, 2nd Avenue and 88th Street. They know.
They don't know anything. They have to go around checking doors.
And they're going to check every door in the building except yours? Let's leave 14A alone, fellas. It looks like a nice door.
If they're gonna go around trying doors, they have 23 hours and 55 minutes a day to try them. I didn't think they would try ours in the 5 minutes that I was out of the house. I gambled, I lost.
What kind of gamble is that to take? You lose, they get everything. You win, they rob someone else.
I have to shop. There's nothing in the house to eat tonight.
Oh, now we have something to eat and nothing to eat it with. Why didn't you call them and have it send it?
Because I shop in a cheap store that doesn't deliver? I was just trying to save us money. You got me so worried the other night. I was just trying to save us some money. Look at how much money I saved us.
What are you doing?
I want to clean up. This place is a mess.
Now?
We have company coming over in a few minutes.
The police! You want the place to look nice for the police? You're afraid they're going to write in their book, bad housekeeper? Leave it alone. Maybe they'll find a clue.
I can't figure out what's missing until I put everything back in its place.
You know what's missing. The liquor, the television set, the medicine chest, the kitchen money, and the hi-fi. That's it, isn't it? Isn't it? All right, what else is missing?
Am I a detective? Look, you'll figure it out.
Where are my suits?
They were here this morning. They're not here now. I guess they took your suit.
7 suits. 3 sports jackets.
8 pairs of slacks.
If that's what you had, that's what they got.
Lucky my tuxedo stood at the cleaners.
You brought it back this morning.
Well, that's it. They did a good job. Cleaned me out. Left me with a pair of khaki pants and a golf hat. Anyone asks us out to dinner this week, ask them if they mind if I wear khaki pants and a golf hat. Dirty bastards.
It's just things, you know?
Oh, life can play some dirty, dirty tricks on people sometimes. Take me, for instance. My parents thought I'd be as great as Edison, or greater. For as a boy, I made balloons. And wondrous kites, and toys with clocks, and little engines with tracks to run on, and telephones of cans and thread. I played the cornet, I painted pictures, I modeled in clay, and I once took the role of the villain in the Octoroon. And at 21, I married, and I had to live. And so to live, I learned the trade of making watches. And I kept a jewelry store in the square, thinking, 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 thinking. Not of the business, but of this engine that I had studied the calculus to build. And all of Spoon River watched and waited for it to work. But it didn't work. A few of the kind souls had said that my genius was somehow hampered by the store, but that wasn't true. The truth was this: I never had the brains.